Yeah.
Hello everyone. I don't know how I should sit. You will just look out straight ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very nice to see you. Looking forward to see you here on Friday.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to come.
So we've been preparing your work, which is possible to see outside. Some of it already now. So maybe we should just, jump into your ongoing project Potato Perspective, which you have been working on since 2005. Could you just say some introductory words about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny as an artist because you start. I mean, when I started working with this, I had no plan. I was working it was an intuitive feeling that I wanted to reconnect with cultivation, and potatoes was for me something very basic that I have been growing up with cultivating. And I think like a lot of people in Norway too, you have fish and potatoes very close at hand, and this is like a basic sustenance for livelihood. And I mean, it's been very unspectacular for me, always, also kind of something in a way boring, but I think and I was not aware of this actually when I started to work with it, but I became more and more fascinated about how many stories there are to tell in such a spad as this plant, the potato. And then after I started to work with it, all these stories kind of were unpacked along the process, and I had no plan to work with it for so long, but I was surprised and overwhelmed myself actually that you could find so many stories in a plant. And now, after all these years, I have kind of come to understand why is it so, and that makes it in a way even more interesting. And in this sense, the title Potato Perspective means that the potato has become for me something like a companion, like a collaborator. When I do things in the world, like when I make exhibitions or processes or projects or just anything in the world, in collaboration with this plant, so to speak, or if I think of it as my companion, I approach things slightly differently, and I learn things about the world slightly differently. And just to start with such a basic thing as the rhythm of art exhibitions and the rhythm of a vegetable like the potato. So these are two phenomena or two objects that have very specific rhythms. I mean, not all art exhibitions have like the same rhythm or same way of operating, but there is a kind of a similarity in how these things, the clock of the art exhibitions are kind of similar. And the clock of the plant, of potato, has also its specificity. And I like to think of how they can merge and work with each other, and in this sense also make visible the clock of the other. So, for example, the opening period of an exhibition like this one here in the Telemark Kunstcenter has kind of adapted a bit to the clock of the potato plant actually, because it was supposed to be shorter, I think. Yeah. So you have actually adapted to the plant, and you know, there's something nice about that. And very often when I do things in other places, so if you want to, as an art space, to work with the plant, you have to think a little bit about how the clock of the potato makes sense in that rhythm of the exhibition and so on. I mean, this is just one example, but you can learn a lot from that. And so this has been for me exciting, actually. It still is.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. I have some of your collaborators here, actually.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. I hope that they are reporting well.
Yeah, they look kind of excited too.
Yes.
To jump into the soil, I can see that.
Yeah.
And spare time is a really interesting term, especially in relation to gardening and farming, because as within artistic practice, how you relate to time and processes is very different from the job, the money job rhythm. So we decided, and this is what is happening also here in Telemark Kunstcenter. So we grow a potato patch which has about the area that most people had in the backyard where I grew up, which is on an island south of Sweden. And it's about the size that gives the harvest of potatoes you need to take you over the winter. So you have the food supply over the winter. And this means that you are kind of safe when it comes to staple food. And this saves you a lot of time for other things, because it's so easy on the one hand to grow potatoes if everything goes fine, which it normally does. I mean, knock on wood, but normally it goes fine. So, and when you live on an island or on the countryside, far away from any little city, whatever, you save a lot of time when you don't have to go into the center all the time to buy food. So in this regard, you save time, but then you have, on the other hand, this phenomena happening lately that gardening has become like the bohemian chic people's hobby, that like this kind of coffee table books on gardening coming up, and people, it's become this kind of luxury thing to eat organic food, and even this kind of rare peasant varieties that I work with has become something of a chic thing, and actually a class issue, really, that if you can afford it, you can have it, and that's another dimension of this spare time thing, that for a lot of people you need to have not only enough money, but you need to have enough money and time in order to be able to do this lovely back to nature gardening, whatever hobby thing it is that people do. So that's like another side of this spare time, I guess, right? So you can think of it different ways. And I was excited to connect it here in Telemark with a previous piece, which I called from flesh to flesh, or from meat to meat. No, from flesh to flesh. Where I talk about the nitrogen cycles, because Norway has a very specific role in the history of synthetic fixation, as it's called, of nitrogen from the air. You fixate the nitrogen that is in the air to the earth. And this story is what I will tell here in the Telemark Kunstcenter in the exhibition. So I know that this narrative has not arrived yet. So it's arriving on Friday, we hope. But yeah, so it's there yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, and in this story I connect also. I mean, if you think of making a living, in order to cultivate food, you also need to nurture the soil. And soil depletion is also like a very concrete and severe problem these days. And synthetic fertilizer has so far been a way to fix this. But the problem with synthetic fertilizer is that it also depletes the soil because it doesn't build up the humus, etc., etc. So actually, the World Health Organization, which is like a very normative and not extreme or radical organization at all, they actually suggest that if people could figure out how to recycle their own excreta, people would be able to nurture exactly the piece of land that they need in order to grow the food they need for sustenance. Yeah. So and when I made this piece from flesh to flesh, I didn't think of that older piece making a living, but it was Karolin who suggested to show them together, and it makes total sense because in this last piece on the nitrogen cycles, I talk about what it would mean to recycle your own excreta and to fertilize the soil that can grow the food you need. You know, because that's on the one hand such an incredible simple thing. You can't believe it, how simple it is. On the other hand, you can think of it as something extremely sophisticated, that this is possible. And this is where I feel that, for example, the potato plant or many other creatures are wonderful collaborators because you can build this kind of circulations together, which is, yeah, I find it very powerful actually, in its basic sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So that piece was the from flesh to flesh, which we also have outside here, which is a compost toilet. That was shown also at Henny Onsdag Art Center last summer, and then this you developed together with Petter Jensen from University for Agriculture in Ås. Mm-hmm. Could you say something about that collaboration or that process, because you're working very closely with the scientist in this topic?
Yeah, I do, and the thing is that so Petter has worked with these questions of organic circulation, both of water system circulation, including excreta circulation, and there is such a paranoia around this. There are a lot of I mean, this whole idea of what hygiene is very strong, and there is nearly like a taboo around human excreta. It's like it's such an intense material, you know. It's such an intense material that it's hard to think of it and so on. But this intensity in this material is also what makes it so potent as nurturing material as well. So for this reason, I wanted to work with someone who really knows about it. But the interesting thing is that the more I learn from Petter, the more I learn that actually the less humans do in this recycling, in this composting process, the better we just facilitate, which is a very basic, easy way to do it. It doesn't need high-tech, university laboratory equipment or anything like that. So the less humans do, but facilitate for the micro-organic organisms that always are around in the air and the soil and so on. Let them do the job to compost this material. It also becomes hygienized, which means that any kind of dangerous bacteria or whatever it is becomes composted in the end. So there is something I think that humans sometimes maybe have a difficulty in doing less. Yeah, we always think that when we do more, it's really good, but it's not the case here. So actually, I have learned from a highly knowledgeable scientist to do less, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. So I think we can just round it up here, actually, and then look forward to see you in the weekend. and you will give a small little talk also as part of the opening. And also as part of the opening, it will be possible to maybe join you to plant your collaborators into
Yes.
the soil, and then see you again in September. And now,
So
yes.
that will be part on the. So now you became frozen for me, but I guess you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Åsa.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.